Welcome to the British Columbia Office of Patient-Centered Measurements Dynamic Analysis and Reporting Tool, also known as the DART. The DART works best with the following browsers: Edge, Safari, Firefox, and Chrome. It does not work well with Internet Explorer. This interactive tool allows for close to real-time tracking of patient-reported experiences and outcome measures collected through scientifically rigorous, provincially coordinated surveys. Survey instruments are selected, customized, and developed in British Columbia. The British Columbia Patient-Centered Measurement Steering Committee has been implementing provincial surveys since 2003 as a joint initiative of the British Columbia Ministry of Health, all 7 of BC's health authorities, and their affiliate organizations. The overarching goals of the DART are to encourage transparency about British Columbia's healthcare system through patient-reported feedback about their experiences and outcomes of care, to provide opportunities to analyze the quality and safety of patient care in close to real time, and finally, to stimulate conversations and inform quality improvement initiatives that respond to feedback from British Columbians about areas for improvement in patient experiences of healthcare and services. The DART was created for clinicians, leaders, policymakers, the general public, anyone and everyone. There are 2 types of data in the DART. Quantitative data are the aggregate numeric responses to structured questions that ask patients to evaluate or provide ratings about their overall satisfaction and their experiences of care. Qualitative data are the open text comments provided by patients about their experiences and outcomes of care. All data in the DART have been de-identified, meaning that none of the information available in the DART can be used to identify an individual. The DART allows users to create custom queries and data tables from the quantitative data and to explore open text comments easily. The data in the DART is meant to inform quality improvement projects. Data have not undergone statistical adjustments, so direct comparisons between facilities and regions must be made with caution. When data collection ends, final reports, which include statistically weighted estimates and additional analyses, will be made available in the DART. Access to the DART is easy to obtain. Please contact the Office of Patient-Centered Measurement to obtain a checklist. Briefly, you will be required to register for DART access and view this orientation video. Your super user will set up your account, and you will then receive instructions on how to access the DART. Ready to go to the DART?
This part of the DART orientation deals with getting an overview of the results using the DART. The Results at a Glance tab provides a first look at the global ratings questions, top 10 strengths and opportunities for improvement questions, and the key driver analysis. When using the DART, it's important to note that while a survey is being conducted, scores presented will continue to change as more surveys are completed by patients and the data is uploaded to the DART. Global ratings are outcome indicators that reflect overall experiences of care. The Emergency Department 2018 survey included 4 global rating questions, asking whether patients felt helped by their emergency department visit, patients' rating of care received in the emergency department, their likelihood to recommend the emergency department, and their overall rating of emergency department experience. The vertical axis indicates the percentage of patients who felt they had an overall good experience during their visit and gave top box or top 2 box scores. A top box score refers to the percentage of all respondents who provided the most favorable response option. Top 2 box refers to the percentage of all respondents who provided the 2 most favorable response options. For all but the likelihood to recommend question, top 2 box is defined as the percentage of patients who reported a 9 or 10 on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being most favorable. The likelihood to recommend question is reported as top box, which shows the percentage of patients who selected definitely yes. The horizontal axis is the discharge date, in this case reported at 2-week intervals. The different colored bars represent responses to each of the global rating questions. We can see the percentage and the sample size, denoted by the letter N when we hover over the bars. You can download the chart. Feel free to incorporate any charts you download in any reports. Just make sure to use and present the data responsibly, as outlined in the DART Terms of Use. We can see results for specific global rating questions by clicking the arrows on the carousel or by clicking on the label below. Here, the blue line shows Mount St. Joseph Hospital's percentage of top box responses to this question at specific time periods, along with confidence intervals. Hover over the lines to view the percentages, confidence intervals, and sample sizes. Next, the black line shows the peer group comparison. In this case, Mount St. Joseph Hospital falls under the medium volume facility group. The definition for the peer groups can be found in the technical notes under the resources section in the DART directory. Lastly, the green line shows the facility average over the entire time period. Similar charts for the other 3 global rating questions can also be viewed by clicking on either the carousel buttons or the labels below the chart. Be cautious interpreting scores from small numbers of respondents, because these scores may not be representative of the entire population. It's important to consider the number of respondents, context, and purpose of the analysis when interpreting the data in the DART. To view the top and bottom scoring questions, click on the bottom label called Top and Bottom 10, or click on the carousel buttons. On the left-hand side are the 10 highest scoring questions along with their scores. These reflect areas of strength. On the right-hand side are the 10 lowest scoring questions along with their scores. These reflect areas with the greatest opportunity for improvement from the patient's perspective. Once data collection for the survey ends, the results of the key driver analysis are added to the DART under this tab. A key driver analysis identifies aspects of patient experiences that are most strongly associated with global ratings. The key driver dimensions and the corresponding survey questions are shown in this table, along with top box scores for each question at the provincial level. Patients who provide higher scores for the dimensions and questions identified as key drivers are also more likely to rate their overall experience of care more positively. Therefore, improvement efforts focused on the key drivers are likely to lead to more positive global ratings of care by patients. That's all for the Results at a Glance tab. See you in the next part of the DART orientation on exploring the questions. This part of the DART orientation covers how and where to access more detailed results on patient-reported experiences. The Explore the Questions tab is an excellent starting point for learning and comparing basic descriptive statistics for each question. It provides in-depth information on each survey question, including a runtime chart, sample size, top box percentage, and distribution of responses. Under the Explore the Questions tab, each question is listed with its question ID, label, and point scale. A point scale refers to the type of response options for a question. Here is the total number of patients who responded, the percentage of patients giving a top box response, and individual run charts that show the percentage of top box responses over the duration of a survey. Let's say we're interested in understanding the concept of respect. We can type respect as a keyword in the search box. Keep in mind this is a keyword search, and that there may be other questions related to the concept of respect that do not use the word respect. Let's click on the first hyperlinked question to get more information. Here is a description of the question. We see that 137 people answered this question. The top box definition is completely, and the score is 83%, meaning that 83% of people reported that they felt that care providers were completely respectful of their culture and traditions. This is a more detailed run chart of the top box percentage over time. Here is the response distribution. Similar to other figures, we can hover over the bars to see more detailed information. There are 4 response options, and this is referred to as a 4-point response scale. There are other types of response scales, such as a yes or no point scale, which comprises response options yes or no. Finally, a response distribution table displays these question scores and number of respondents by response option. Note that partly only has 4 responses, which does not meet the minimum of 5 observations per cell size privacy requirement. So you would suppress this number when reporting. Returning to the questions list, we can compare questions. Here, we are selecting 2 questions for comparison after hitting the Compare button at the top right of the DART screen in the Explore the Questions tab. Notice that the 2 questions selected are now displayed to allow for a side-by-side comparison of the scores over time and the response distributions. We can also add a filter by point scale. That's it. In the next part of the DART orientation, we will look at the following tab on applying filters. Now that we've explored the survey questions, we can dive deeper into the data by using the Apply Filters tab. This function is a quick and effective way of getting right to the information you need. The Apply Filters tab allows us to view results according to predefined demographic categories and discharge dates. Users can filter on gender, ethnicity, age group, and discharge date. Let's explore respect from male respondents using question ID BCED13, which asks patients the question, during this emergency visit, do you feel that your care providers were respectful of your culture and traditions? Here you can see the response options, sample size, percentages, mean and standard deviation for this question, along with a bar chart displaying responses for males only. Users must hit the Update button before the DART will run a query, such as this one. We can also click on Roll Up by 2, which combines two response options into one, in this case, combining the not at all and partly responses, and quite a bit with completely. We can export the table into Microsoft Excel, print, download the graph, or print the entire tab. It's easy to compare the results of two questions. We can also save this query for future use. We encourage you to use these results, but please be mindful of your responsibilities associated with using DART data, such as informing the Office of Patient-Centered Measurement if you intend to publish results. A full description of these responsibilities is provided under the Terms of Use. See you in the next part of the DART orientation, where you'll learn how to create tables and charts. Time to delve deeper into the DART. In this part of the DART orientation, you'll see how the Create Tables and Charts tab can produce crosstabs and generate charts. A crosstab, or a crosstabulation, is a data table showing the relationship between two variables. Let's have a look. The layout of the Create Tables and Charts tab is similar to the layout of the Apply Filters tab, which we have already covered. You will know which tab you are working in by looking at the tab headings or looking at the title on the page. Here you can see the Create Tables and Charts tab highlighted, and here you can see the title. The Filter Results By is set to males only. A feature of the DART is that the filters you selected in an earlier tab, which we did when we were working in the Apply Filters tab, are carried forward to the next. Just remember to clear any previously selected filters if you want a fresh start or different filters. Okay, let's say that we're interested in understanding the perspectives of males who visited an emergency department in January 2018 on their experience of being treated with respect. The first step is to create the filter. Males are already selected. Now let's select January 2018 as the discharge date. We can save this query and call it up later. Had we decided to not save the query, we could have chosen to abort it. The second step is to identify the questions we want to compare. As we saw when we reviewed the Explore the Questions tab, we identified question IDs containing the keyword respect. We can also look at the survey instrument in the DART directory to identify question IDs. We can also identify questions by typing the word respect. The third step is to select our questions using the Select a Question box. Finally, once the questions are selected, we can view the results in one of three ways. We can go directly to individual questions using hyperlinks. Frequency counts are shown for each response option, and percentages are shown with missing data or without missing data. We are able to export tables to Excel, download or print the charts, or print the entire tab. While we encourage you to use the results you generate from the DART, we remind you that when logging into the DART, you agree to abide by obligations associated with the privilege of using the DART as outlined in the Terms of Use. These apply to viewed, downloaded, and printed information generated from the DART. Information and reports available through or generated by the DART may be used for publication or media-related purposes, following a review facilitated by the British Columbia Office of Patient-Centered Measurement. The intent of our review will never be to prevent publication, rather, to provide you with feedback on your analysis and interpretation, and to ensure that privacy safeguards are upheld. Publication review requests must be submitted by email at least 30 calendar days before any publication deadlines. You must also not attempt to re-identify records or individuals by any means, including, but not limited to, linking records and individuals within the DART or linking records and individuals within the DART with data originating from other sources. You must mitigate the risk of re-identification of individuals by suppressing, which means removing, responses with cell sizes of fewer than 5 responses from any reports you generate. Back to Create Tables and Charts tab. This tab allows us to conduct cross-tab analysis. In addition to looking at questions about respect, let's choose the question on the Emergency Department Patient Experience of Care Survey, ED-PEC 5, that asks, during this emergency department visit, did you receive care within 30 minutes of getting to the emergency department? And let's look first at the Tables feature of this tab to understand the experience of males who visited an emergency department in January 2018 on 2 variables, their wait time for care on arrival in the ED, and their experience of being treated with respect. Here are cross-tabs of respect-related questions by patients who received care within 30 minutes among male respondents who were discharged from the ED in January 2018. We see that there are a total of 19 respondents. The percentages reflect column percentages, indicating that 68%, or 13 patients, reported that they felt their care providers were completely respectful of their culture and traditions. Among the 13 patients, 9 reported getting care within 30 minutes of getting to the ED, and 4 reported not getting care within 30 minutes. Create Tables and Charts allows us to filter results by certain characteristics and generate crosstabs. Enjoy using the Create Tables and Charts tab in the DART platform. Next, we'll demonstrate the last tab in the DART that provides qualitative data in the patient's own words. In this part of the DART orientation, we'll be looking at a powerful feature of the DART, patient narratives in their own words. The final questions patients are asked to respond to on our surveys ask them to tell us if there is anything else they want us to know about their experiences of care and services, and to tell us about the most important change we could make to improve experiences for all patients who need healthcare in British Columbia. Patient narratives provide a rich source of data in their own right. They also provide contextual information that can be used to illustrate the quantitative results of our surveys. The British Columbia Office of Patient-Centered Measurement uses the expression that statistics are people with the tears wiped off. Presenting the data from our scientifically rigorous surveys together with our patients' own words tell us a more compelling story. So far, we've explored patients' responses to questions with the word respect using only the scores from the questions, the quantitative survey data, to tell the story. Let's now examine patient comments related to being treated with respect. As already mentioned, at the end of each survey, patients are invited to give us their opinions about improving patient experiences in British Columbia. While these comments may not be representative of the views of all patients, since not all patients who respond to a survey provide comments, these comments can provide additional insights on patient experiences and on what matters to patients. During transcription, any personal identifiers such as the names of individual care providers or patients are removed. Here's the final tab in the DART, Patient's Own Words. All comments are masked to remove identifiers, coded into themes for ease of searching, and assigned a valence. For the Emergency Department survey, all comments are coded into 6 themes. Hovering over each of the theme tabs shows a brief description of any sub-themes. Each comment is assigned a code that corresponds to one of the themes. Comments may be lengthy, so one comment may be attributed to multiple themes. Each sub-theme is then assigned a sentiment, also referred to as a valence. The sentiments expressed by patients may be either positive, negative, neutral, or both positive and negative. If we are interested in comments related to doctors, we can look under Staff, which leads to a further number of sub-themes, and we select the Doctors and Physicians sub-theme. We can sort the comments alphabetically, or by valence. We can also search the patient narratives using the keyword search function. For example, we can search for respect. Here, we find one comment that includes the word respect. It's important to look at where the DART is looking for the data. Here we can see that we are currently viewing Mount St. Joseph Hospital's comments about staff, specifically doctors and physicians for any discharge date. If we want to see all comments with the word respect, we will need to go back to the All tab and then search for respect. We can learn more about how themes are defined for each sector survey by downloading the patient comment definitions. We can also show comments by discharge date. We can print the comments. Again, while we want to encourage you to use the results you generate from the DART, We also want to remind you that the terms of use you agree to every time you log into the DART apply to any viewed, downloaded, and printed information, including qualitative data. Specifically, you must provide a balanced view when presenting qualitative data, showcasing positive, negative, and neutral narratives whenever possible. Selecting individual comments that illustrate the quantitative data is an excellent way to provide a human element to the scores in the DART. For example, a negative comment that aligns to a negative score or a positive comment that aligns to a positive score. The Patient's Own Words tab is a very powerful and informative function that provides additional contextual information to complement the quantitative data.
The DART is an interactive, powerful tool that allows you to customize queries and display the patient voice collected from provincial surveys in a visually appealing and informative way. Patient comments can be easily viewed and filtered according to themes. Here are 2 examples of the DART in action. Providence Healthcare wanted to create a patient experience survey for use on specific units to monitor their QI tests of change. Their survey is designed to collect data on an ongoing basis to monitor changes in practice, and their data will be compared to results displayed in the DART. Using the key driver analysis posted in the DART as a starting point for survey development, staff were able to examine the questions asked as well as the question responses and frequency of responses. Crosstabs were used to gain a better understanding of the relationship between questions. The ability to see results by facility helped staff understand the variation in patient experience. All of this information, gathered from the DART, informed their survey development. Intravenous therapy, commonly known as IV, is one of the most common invasive procedures that healthcare personnel perform. A module of 8 questions was developed to assess patients' perceptions and experiences of having an IV in the emergency department. Quantitative data were tracked using run charts, bar charts, and frequency tables, while qualitative data were analyzed for common themes. Weekly monitoring of these data through the DART showed key themes and opportunities for improvement. The results of this work led to scripts and laminated cards being distributed at 2 emergency departments to address patients being told to call a nurse if they had any problems with their IV. This initiative shows how both quantitative and qualitative data were used together to identify areas for improvement and how those improvement efforts can be monitored in close to real time using the DART. Thank you for taking the time to learn about the DART. Now that you have finished watching the orientation video, the next step is to get your certificate of completion. Show your certificate to your super user so that you can start using the DART. Remember, at the heart of every data point in healthcare is a person. On behalf of the British Columbia Patient-Centered Measurement Steering Committee and the BC Office of Patient-Centered Measurement, we hope that using the DART will help you understand and improve what matters most to people who use healthcare services in British Columbia.